Hello, welcome to my watercolour channel. My name is Carrie and today I'm going to be painting a portrait from a drawing from my sketchbook. So what I've done is I've drawn it out onto some watercolour paper. This is Saunders Waterford and it's heavyweight, so I didn't have to stretch it. So a couple of things before I start. Oh, first of all, I want to tell you it is on Unsplash, and I've put the link in the description down below to find the reference. My plan of action is to mix up the skin tones, and on this side it's darker, so I'm going to come in with the darker colours across there and around there and in the darker areas. Now it'll look very dark at the beginning, but as I get more colours in, it will again appear quite light. Bring this into shot. I've got Alizarin Crimson, I've got raw Sienna, and I'm just adding some Cerulean Blue. I only work with the three colours, try to keep everything harmonious. I might put some other colours in the background, and I might bring some other colours in later on. But this is just to start with. I'm going to get the tones down first of all. I'm beginning with a large number 16 Da Vinci Cosmotop Spin paintbrush. And I'm just going to lay down some shadows first of all. And then I'm going to probably move on to a slightly smaller brush, the number 12 Pro Art Proline Plus, which I've had for decades and I absolutely love this one. But I'm afraid it's getting a little bit tufty in places, so it might have to have a bit of a go with the scissors. I still love it, I can't part with it. And I like this one because it's got a nice point to it, but I'm not going to be using the point at this stage. I'm going to use some of the raw Sienna. Then I'm going to mix in some of the Alizarin Crimson. That's way too pink. But I want shadow, so I'm going to now add in a bit of the Cerulean Blue. And that makes a nice neutral shadow colour. So there's a bit of shadow in her hair, a bit of shadow down here, a bit of shadow around the eyes and on the pupil. This is quite nerve-wracking actually. A bit of shadow going down here. And I'm wondering, I'm going to soften all these edges as I go. The shadow goes across this other eye, into the pupil. Eyebrows are dark, and then a shadow on the side of her nose and underneath, across the upper lips. It's a little bit on the corner of the mouth there, and there's a bit of shadow underneath there, and then the shadow comes a bit further round. I'm going to soften all these edges now because I don't want hard edges at this stage. That goes around there like that. So now I've got something down and I'm a lot less nervous. I'm still a bit nervous. I feel as if I haven't painted a portrait for ages. In fact, I haven't drawn one for a couple of weeks either, so I do feel a bit out of it. There's quite a lot of shadow on this side of her hair actually because it flips up. And that's quite nice actually. That's one of the things I liked about this reference. Actually, in the reference photo, she's got beautiful wispy hair, which I'm going to add in at the end. She's also got lovely freckles, which aren't in my drawing. So I'm glad I went and looked for the reference as a reminder of what was in it. Right, and then her t-shirt is quite dark there. Very dark here. Very dark around the edge of her jacket. I think it's a denim jacket, so I will be painting that blue later on. Keeping the edges soft. And the way I do that is I just use a damp brush and just touch the edges a bit. A little bit down here, shadow, darker along here. Definitely dark under her nose, but I can put more details in later. And there's a bit of a line. Now all these colours, apart from the Alizarin Crimson, I'll be able to lift off a little bit later on, so I'm not too concerned. I did want to keep a little bit of flashlight, but I might just add that in with gouache at the end. Soften that. This tissue, because it's a little more delicate. Right, let's go in again with this. Just a bit there. That's a bit better. Right, I'm going to let that dry, and then I'm going to come in with some more flesh colour, which I'm going to mix without the blue, or maybe just a touch of the blue. Okay, now I'm going to come in. I've mixed some of the Alizarin Crimson with the raw sienna and a touch of the mix with the blue in. So there's a teeny tiny bit of blue in, and it's going to be very watery at this stage, very, very watery. And I'm just going to come across all of the face, including the shadow area, including the eyes. And this will soften the colour that's already down. I think it might be a bit too dark. Let's lighten it. There we go, because we don't want it too dark, do we? Be able to keep some of the lighter areas light. Across the lips. And down into the neck. Currently she's looking a bit weird, isn't she? That's okay. That's okay. Now it's going to dry a lot lighter, but I'm going to lift up a bit from the forehead. There's a bit of light on there. And a bit of this cheek area. Actually, I might do it with the tissue. There's a bit of cheek area that's caught a bit of light. And this side of the face is quite a lot lighter, and this is the chin. So I'm just going to lift off that colour for now. What I'm going to do is, once this has dried a little bit, I'm going to come along with a hake brush and lift it out and soften everything. So that's looking a bit better. Her eyes look really weird at the moment. I don't like them at all. Soften all these colours down a bit. Soften all the edges, because she's a young girl, she'll have soft features, whereas a person with a lot of wrinkles will have harder features. I'm just going to add it around the edges like that. Lovely. It looks less like she's wearing a hoodie now. Now, as you can see, what appeared to be very dark now doesn't seem quite so dark. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to work around the eyes at the moment, because they're looking rather weird and it's kind of off-putting. So I'm going to speed this up very slightly and put some music on while I'm doing this so I can concentrate. Right, so here we are at this stage. We've begun to get a bit more shape to her face. Her eyes don't look quite as creepy anymore. And what I'm currently doing is I'm lifting up some of the highlight areas, which I've over enthusiastically covered. So I'm just lifting them out so they'll show up more at the end. And I can do this. This is a Matthew Palmer lift off brush. Any hard bristle brush will do this job. This is quite nice because it's kind of delicate and you don't want to scrub away too hard at your watercolour paper. This is 100% cotton, so it can take a bit of battering, which is why I like it, because lifting off is one of my favourite techniques to use. I've always used it, and yeah, I quite like using it for rescue missions. Now I'm going to work a bit around the mouth and nose area. I'm going to use the smaller brush again, the number 6. I'm just going to try and do some shaping around that area. Now, so I'm still using the mixture for shadows, which is the Alizarin Crimson, the raw Sienna, with a teeny tiny touch of the Cerulean Blue. And that shapes her bottom lip and the shape around her chin. Okay, I'm going to come in and put some colour down on the hair. Now she's very fair haired, which is always a bit of a challenge. Okay, I feel as if I'm really nearly there, but I just want to make some slight adjustment to this eye. It's slightly too scrunched up. It needs a bit of form underneath, I do believe, and then it will look right. See, this one's got a slight bag happening underneath, and this one hasn't, so I think it's making it looks a little bit strange. So I'm going to lift out some of the colour I've got here first of all. I might soften that edge while I'm at it. Anyway, I think that wasn't helping. And I messed up a little bit with her lip, but I'm going to redo that slightly as well. I put a bit of white highlight on there, and I don't know why I did, because it didn't look right. It's made the lip look wonky, that's all. Right, that's a bit better already, actually. I'm going to use just a little bit of the shadow colour underneath there, just to hopefully make it look wider. Quite enough. Oof. Let's soften that. Now that's looking better. It still looks as if the eye's too narrow. I think maybe I need to lift a little bit up here. Right, now let's go up a bit higher. That's better. And now I can fill in the blue. That's much better, I do believe. In a lot lower here. That's much better. Looking a lot more natural now. I might add a few more freckles to her face. She's got a lot on her forehead, but I think I'm going to concentrate on the ones around her nose, because that's where they're prettiest. Freckles are the thing, aren't they? Or am I out of date with that as well? Lovely. You can't see them very well, but I can. In fact, if anything, they might be a bit too strong. So I'm just going to lift them out a bit. That's better. Right, I'm going to stop myself. They say it takes two people to do a watercolour painting. That's one to actually do the painting and another person to come along with a 2x4 and stop them when they get to the fiddling stage. I love it. Shall I zoom in a little bit? There. What do you think? Let me know down below. I love it. Thank you very much for watching. I really enjoyed doing this painting. It's been a while since I've done a painted portrait, and I'm glad I could remember how to do it. Thanks for watching. Bye.